afternoon, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to be here with you today. My name is Angie C.J. Sims. I am the president of Atlanta Women's Network, Georgia's first ever professional networking group for women. We were founded in 1979 and have had an illustrious, long-standing history of allowing professional women in Atlanta to network with one another, to build their businesses, to increase their visibility, and to collaborate with other women business owners and leaders all around Atlanta. We are so honored today to have our speaker, Gladys Agwu. I make sure I'm saying it right there, Gladys.
Agwai, that's all right, Agwai.
I love her name. Gladys actually visited us at one of our monthly luncheons, I think last year sometime. And after I got to speak with her and I found out she had just come back to the States from Africa, where she ran a very successful business. As soon as I left the luncheon, I was on Route 75 on the phone, dialing her up so I could find out more about Gladys. She is an incredible force of nature. And today she's going to share with us a little bit about how to be global inside and out and how to diversify. Gladys has a wonderful history within her business here in the States, in her business around the world global. And a lot of what we need to do as business owners is learn a little bit more about how to expand ourselves. But sometimes we got to expand ourselves starting right here. Because sometimes our businesses can't go global because mentally we don't think it can, and we don't have the appropriate resources or know-how to get that done. Gladys, thank you so much for joining us. And without further ado, we'll hear from Gladys. Thank you, Gladys.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And hello, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well as you can within this environment of circumstances that we find ourselves in. But I do believe that in whatever circumstances you find yourself in, there is that possibility for growth. And as Angie talked about, I'm going to really talk about how to accelerate your growth because it's not automatic. And a part of that growth is, are you deciding within what it is that you want to do, that you want to have a more global presence? And we'll talk about that as we go through things, because I want you to look at your potential not as just an event or a goal or just a product, but I want you to look at your potential as a constant journey of discovery, growth, and insight. And so if going global is a part of that journey of discovery, then that's wonderful and that's great. But the important thing is that you have to be clear about what it is that you want. Do you really want to get into this global environment? And if you want to get into that, why is that? How do you want to position yourself globally? Because you can be globally and be in a country, you can be globally and sit right here, like I sit right here in Atlanta, and I have global clients because of technology and how that's how we can leverage and use that today. So it just depends on your clarity about what are the outcomes that you want and what do you want to do. And so I will say that so often opportunity is missed because most people look at opportunity and it's like dressed in overalls, right? In those blue jeans, like, oh my God, this is a lot of work. And when you look at opportunity as a lot of work, and oh my God, I don't know if I want to do that global, oh my God, that seems to be so huge, so big, then that makes you not want to put forth the effort that it's going to require for you to get to the outcomes that you say that you want. Or if you're in environments like we're in now, where the circumstances can be very difficult with the health, the economic, and the political crisis that we are under right now, opportunity within that kind of an environment looks like work. And so too much work, and therefore I'm just going to stay in my comfort zone. Or when you are in an environment where you get rejected, you started on a path of wanting to go global and you got rejected out of that in some kind of way. It didn't happen the way you wanted it to be. And then you backed out of it and say, oh, I'm not going to try that again. right? And all of this applies that I'm talking to is not just about business, not just about careers, but how is all of this impacting your life? How does your life look like work? And therefore, you don't want to take steps to grow in your life, in your personal life, in your family life, within your friend life, within your love life, as well as in your work life and in your career life. Right. So when you're thinking about growth and what you want, what does growth look like for you? And I think you need to take some time and really understand, writing down, sitting with yourself and reflecting, what does growth look like? If growth looks to you like you want to go global, again, what does that mean? What is global? What does that mean? Where globally do you want to grow? I went to Africa because my husband is from Africa. So there were some seeds that I had that would let me land in a soft way. My company was there. I was able to go there with my company on an international assignment, right? And so I could have a soft landing associated with, my exposure into this global experience and this global world. So where are you today, and where do you want to be? Because when we say we want to go global, well, that's like, I mean, it's massive. So it's taking some different steps in order to figure that out. And when we talk about, growth, we have gaps, right, in our thinking. Are we making assumptions? We're going to automatically grow. I want to go global, so therefore, it's going to automatically happen because I want it to happen. I don't know how I'm going to grow globally if that's what you want, or in whatever area you want to grow. I don't have the know-how in order to be able to do that. Okay, but what are you going to do about that? If it's hard times, how do I take these hard times and grow within those hard times? Is it the right time for me to grow? Is it the right time for me to think I can have the possibility of growing? And we're in the middle of a healthcare, economic, and political crisis. I say yes. But you have to have the mindset to say yes as well. Because if you say no, it's impossible, then you're not going to make the movements that you need to make in order to ensure that that growth happens. Even if those movements are not these big giant leaps forward, but just maybe the size of a little tiny mustard seed, that you're taking small steps to grow towards the outcomes that you say that you want. Or do you have a growth gap because you're afraid of making mistakes? Again, it aligns to, I don't know how to grow, and because I don't know how, I'm going to make mistakes, and therefore I'm not going to do anything. Well, what are you doing in order to offset those mistakes that you are making? Are you needing to be perfect before you make a move? Well, I can't possibly go global because I need my I's dotted, my T's crossed, and I need to go back and dot my T's and cross my I's, which makes no sense. But we just have to keep trying to do that one more thing to be perfect before we make that move. Again, regardless of what that move is around your life, your business, or your career, that everything has to be perfect. Can't get married unless everything is perfect in my life, everything is perfect in my partner's life before we can get married, before I can make a move for a career, before I can ask a client for business, before I can get into business, before I can go global. Everything has to be perfect. And maybe you just don't fit, but you're not inspired. And if you're not inspired about growing, then maybe you're doing some things that just don't matter to you. And so you have to figure out, well, does this really matter? How much does this matter? How much am I willing to sacrifice in order to make that happen? Right. And then are you comparing yourself to other people? That's one of the downfalls that we have, is that we compare ourselves to everybody else. And what somebody else is doing is not what we should be doing. Right. Or did you expect that it was going to be easy? Because going global is not easy. If that's what you expect, getting into business is not easy. Growing a career is not easy. Having a relationship is not easy. So you have to close some of these gaps so that you can figure out what are the moves that I need to be making in order to get to the outcomes that I say that I want, again, in my life, in my business, and in my career. And so I ask you, is the emotion stronger? That emotion creates that desire. It creates your want connection to it, right? So is your emotion stronger? Do you have a stronger desire to change and grow? Or do you have a stronger desire that you're going to fail, that fear of failure, that fear of trading security? Well, if I go global or if I leave corporate and go into my own business, you're trading security. And there's a fear from that fear of being overextended with your resources, because you got to put more money. If I go global, I've got to put some additional resources into that effort. And it depends on, again, what do you mean by going global? What do you mean by what kind of business do you want to get in? Because all of that requires resources, yes, but there's varying degrees of that depending on the outcomes that you say that you want. And again, do you have that fear of what other people will think? Which emotion is stronger? I want change, I want to grow, or that fear of I care what other people think? Because those fears are going to keep you stuck. They're going to keep you scared. They're going to keep you broke because you're not going to take the bold moves that you need to take in order to make things happen, or you're going to be broken because you know you want to make that bold move, but you're scared to make that bold move. And as a result of that, you don't do anything. You just stay stuck in that comfort zone, unhappy in that comfort zone, too scared to move out of it. And so the National Science Foundation talks about how we have up to 60,000 thoughts per day. And of those thoughts, 85% of those thoughts are negative. Those thoughts are negative, y'all. And of those negative thoughts, 95% of them are repeated. So we are constantly in this negative tape spiral in our heads. You all have caught yourselves talking 20 minutes in your head about what you should have said, could have said, should have did this, shouldn't have stayed so long, et cetera, et cetera. It's natural, but we have to be able to get ourselves up out of it and snap ourselves up out of that so that we get into the right mindset, the right mental state, the right physical state to be able to get to the outcomes that we say that we want, whatever that is. Whatever that is. So you have to be intentional about your growth. You can't grow by accident. It has to be intentional. So that's why I say you have to sit and understand, what is it that I'm looking for? So intentional says, I'm going to start now. And again, it doesn't have to be the big leap. It can be small steps. But I'm going to start right now. I'm not going to wait until tomorrow to start. What's your intention? What is your intention? And then are you taking responsibility? And are you being accountable? Are you going to learn from the mistakes that you make? Because guess what? You are going to make those mistakes. But there are mistakes that you can come back from if you learn from them. Do you know that it's going to be hard work and you're okay with that and you are willing to deal with that? The sacrifices of hard work, that perseverance, that you're going to keep going regardless. You have to know yourself. You have to be intentional about all of these things, the follow through, taking risks, all of those things. If you are not willing to do those things, don't even think about going global. Don't think about leaving your job. Get yourself mentally ready. Get intentional. And you have to look and see, am I intentional in all areas of my life, or am I in accidental mode? Where by accident I was able to get this and see this or hear from this person. Is it by accident, or are you intentionally moving yourself forward in order to do those things? And I would say learning is a key part of that. We are in this globally competitive world, this globally competitive environment. Change is constant. change is. It is inevitable, and the need for change exists. And as a result of that change, we are constantly getting internal signals, that frustration, that sadness, even that joy and happiness is telling us that, ooh, something is, it's feeling good, something's right about this, but it's also saying something is not right about this. What is that telling you? And paying attention to that. And again, setting an intention with it so that you can set an intention to grow from that internal signal that you are being given, or the external signals that you are being given, where you see that within your market, things are not happening in your market. That's an external signal. Well, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to be proactive with it? Or are you going to wait until that signal kind of just slaps you upside the head like a billboard and then say, oh my God, I can't believe this has happened to me? What are you going to do about that? What kind of intention are you setting in your life with this change that you know is going to come? It can tap you on the shoulder at any given moment in time. And you are getting the signals that something is amiss, something is awry, something is good, something is coming. You're getting it both internally and externally, but yet you ignore it. You ignore it. And going global, because of technology and what is going on now, there's very good reasons and rationales for you to think globally. And let's say you can't do globally right now within another country. Does your circle look like it's global? Do you have diversity within your circle, diversity within your company, within your business, within your client base? So either when you are looking to find that direction of whether you want to go global or not go global, or whatever direction you want to go in, again, whether that's in your life, your business, or career, are you confused? Are you frustrated? Or are you in a place of fulfillment when you are finding that direction? You don't know what you like to do, don't know what you want to do, but you do know what you want to do. So you want to find yourself in that direction, a place of fulfillment, because I talked about it as a journey. Finding your direction is a journey. Moving towards that direction is a journey. And through that, you should have this sense of fulfillment as you are traveling through that. And that doesn't mean that everything is perfect and everything is well, but you feel fulfilled because you know that you're going towards a direction that you identified to where you want to be in your life, not what someone else has told you is the right thing for you to be doing. Because again, if somebody's telling you what to do, they're really telling you what they would do. And you are shortchanging yourself, and you are shortchanging so many people out here in the world who could really use and leverage what you have to give authentically. So I want you to take a look in the mirror, because how you view yourself is going to determine the behaviors in which you're going to start acting on. The actions that you're going to take is determined by your behavior. So take a look in the mirror before you say, I'm going to step out here globally or in whatever other way you want to get out. You have to take a look in the mirror. And what is my behavior? What kind of self-image do I have? Because we can have that low self-image, that low self-esteem, especially when we have experienced rejection in our life, in our business, and in our career. That rejection. You know, I have a book, Dumped, Not Dumped On, How to Stop Reliving the Negative Impact of Rejection in Your Life, Business, or Career, because that takes us in this whole negative tape spiral that we said we want to go global, but then we got rejected in some kind of a way, whether that's job, career, client, business, the economy slump, can't get the loan I want to get, can't get the school I wanted to get into. Whatever the case may be, we get into that negative spiral and get stuck, and then our self-image lowers. And you will only go as far as your self-image. That's it. If your self-image is here, you can't go any further. But if your self-image is here, you can go further. Yes? So it's about self-reflection. Self-reflection, looking in the mirror and understanding what is the value that I put on myself. Because other people will put value on you, whether you ask them to do it or not. And too often we buy into the value that other people put on us versus understanding the value that I put on myself. And based on the value that I put on myself, I know myself better than anybody else knows me. So whenever somebody tries to put their value on you, you're not defined by that. You can keep moving in the direction that you want to move into. It's so important. So important. So you have to be consistent about growth. We talked about it being a journey, didn't we? It's a journey. And that means there has to be consistency in your growth. And that doesn't mean that consistency is always going to be in an upward motion. Sometimes that consistency you dip, right? But the consistency is that I dip, I keep coming back up, coming back up, coming back up. That perseverance. So you have to always know, what do you need to improve? What do you need? Do you know? Do you even admit that you need to make some improvements? Because some people don't even admit that they have any faults. They're perfect. Wouldn't dare admit. I can name someone, but I won't. Right? Do you know how you need to improve? So do you know what you need to improve? Do you know how you need to improve it? And do you know why you need to improve that? What is that going to give you? What is the benefit of that? And do you know when you're supposed to make these improvements that you've identified that you need to make? When do you need to make them? Tomorrow? Next week? When? Go ahead and tell me. Go ahead, put it in the chat, write it down on a piece of paper. When do you need to make it? Right now, not tomorrow. So we talked about change and change being constant. We talked about that. But I want to make sure that you look at and what is the environment in which you have put yourself into? Because if you think you want to do something global, you think you want to grow, what is the environment that you're in that may limit your growth? What is that environment? So if you change yourself, but you don't change your environment, then your growth is going to be slow and it's going to be difficult. I'll say it again. If you change yourself, but you stay in a toxic environment, that toxic environment can be relationships, whether that's client, whether that's personal, or it can be your environment within your business, environment within whatever career, corporate environment that you're in. A toxic environment is a toxic environment is a toxic environment. And you can change yourself all day long, but if you change yourself, but then you stay in that environment, you still are going to limit your growth. If you change your environment, but you don't change yourself, so you decide, I'm going to leave this relationship, I'm going to leave this business, I'm going to leave this city, and I'm going to go global, and you don't change yourself to go along with that, then your growth is going to be slow again. Maybe not as difficult, but it's still going to be slow and it's going to be difficult. Yeah. But if you change your environment, that toxic environment, and you change yourself from within, your mindset, then your growth is going to be faster and it's going to be more successful. It's a guarantee that happens. But you have to change out of a toxic environment, and you have to change also yourself because you got toxicity within you. And you need to understand that some people around you may not want you to change. I know when I made it known that I wanted to go to Africa and go live in Africa and work in Africa and build a career in business, in Africa, 99% of the people said, "Are you crazy? Are you nuts? What the hell are you thinking?" I mean, 99% of the people. So that, but it again, they wouldn't do it. But because they wouldn't do it has zero to do with whether I would do it or not. So you listen to what is the objection. You want to mitigate your risks. You do want to do those things, but the bottom line, the decision is yours. And sometimes you have to change the people around you in order to get to the outcomes that you say that you want, to be able to grow the way that you want to grow. And I talk to people about the giraffe and the turtle. And you know that the turtle is here, and the turtle can only see what is on the ground right around it, right? But a giraffe is here. And so the giraffe can see over the trees, can see out into the horizon, but it can also dip to be able to see what's around its feet and come back up. And what we're doing is that we're talking to people who are turtles, and I mean no offense by that, that's just where they are. And we're talking to them, trying to tell them about what we want to be doing up here, and they can't see it. They can't see it from here. They don't say, but we working so hard to convince them, but they can't see it. It's impossible. So you have to have in your circle, that's why there's addition and subtraction. So you have to subtract, not completely out of your life, but trying to talk them into hearing what you got to say about what you wanted to do up here, because you can see it. Because you've raised yourself up to be able to see that vision. So you have to start aligning yourself and adding to yourself. You want to go global? Well, who else is out there that's done that? And start aligning yourself with that giraffe who sees out. So when you're talking to them, they see what you see. And maybe they're a little taller and they can see even more. Yeah. So you have to add and subtract people out, because again, if you stay in that toxicity, you're not going to grow and do what it is that you want to do. So increasing your thinking capacity, doing what matters, understanding and being clear. So you have to be clear. Don't walk around being fuzzy. Because if you walk around not being clear and fuzzy, you're not going to be focused. You're going to be focused on the wrong thing. Anybody can come to you and tell you anything, and you're going to dart in that direction. And then somebody else comes and you're going to dart in that direction. Or really what you're supposed to be doing in the midst of a climate that we're in today and circumstances we're in today, I really need to be pivoting right here. But because you have missed those signals or ignored those signals, you're pivoting over here, right? So you have to stop thinking more work and start thinking what works. I want you to think not capacity is about more, but capacity is about better. That starts with better. I want you to stop thinking, can I, and start thinking, how can I? You want to go global? You want to start your business? You want to leave that career, that corporate environment? You want to leave that relationship? Not can I, but how can I? And what are those self-limiting statements that you are telling yourself about that, making that move? Stop thinking that it's one door and start looking at there's many doors out there. There's many ways to go about doing things. There's always, always, always an option. Always. So remember, you are not the product of your circumstances. You are the product of your decisions. So growth requires, excuse me. So growth requires that you have to chart your own course. You got to make a decision. You got to be committed to that decision. You have to connect with purpose and take the appropriate action. So take your foot off first base. That is the most difficult thing for you to do. Pardon me. Take your foot off of first base if you want to go to second base. Take your foot off of first base if you want to get to second base. Take your foot off of first base if you want to get to second base is my last suggestion and recommendation to you. Thank you for having me, Angie. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Gladys. Thank you so much. I was text messaging, are you okay? Are you okay? So you got no tickle in your throat.
A tickle, yes, yes, yes.
Thank
But
you
I'm
so
good.
much. Take your foot off of first base if you want to make it to second base.
The
Thank you
only
so
way to
much
get
for
there.
all of your wisdom. And you are always such an incredible encouragement to me personally in my business. And as you mentioned, there's so many people that might not think that your goals are something they could ever do. So since they don't see it as something for them, they wonder why you think you can do it. Who the heck you think you are? I never go to Africa. Why do you
Right.
think you can go to Africa, right? People just got the game all messed up.
And like I said, you don't say, can I go to Africa? It's like, how can I go to Africa?
Right.
And that's where I
What
was.
are steps
How
I
can
need
I
to
get
take?
there?
Absolutely. What are
How
steps
do
I
I
need
make
to take?
this happen?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's such an encouragement to people that it just seems like just so out of this world that that's something you could do is go run a full-fledged business in Africa. And, you know, even though people like, well, all people come from Africa, but for Black people and people of color, particularly that are, the melanin is more closer aligned, right? So you tend to think that I should feel even more comfortable, you know, making a journey like that or feel relatable there. But it is a totally different culture, a totally different continent, totally different countries, right?
But you have to be ready for that difference,
Yeah.
that cultural difference. And
Yeah.
I say, if you are not doing that already in your
Mhm.
life, and you don't have a diverse group of people around you,
Yeah.
you are not accepting of a diverse group of cultures and beliefs and things like that. Not that you have to agree,
Yeah.
but that you're accepting for people to be able to be who they are based on their experiences, then it's going to be very difficult for you to do.
Yeah.
But you have to be open.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we need to be more open as a society anyway, because we
Yeah.
all grow up in our own circumstances.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what I like to say in many of the groups that I travel in is that when you cut us open, we're all exactly the same.
Exactly.
You know, all these things that make us different, the shape of our faces, the tone of our skin, how our teeth are lined up, how far our eyes are separated. Those thoughts that we have are things that were placed into us. We weren't born with thoughts of non-relatable, right? It's based on what our experiences are. How often are we around this group of people? How often do we eat this type of food? How many times were we exposed to that type of culture? Those are the things that happen throughout our lifetime that make us who we are, sort of up here, right?
Yes.
Now,
Be curious.
naturally,
Be
because
curious, people.
yeah, but
Be curious. You're
yeah, but things such as, and I'll say it, racism.
not living your
Nobody's
abundant
born
life if you
racist.
don't live with curiosity.
Yeah, nobody's born racist,
Yeah.
nobody's born sexist, nobody's born homophobic. You're just not born with it. You're taught it.
Right.
Those behaviors are learned. So I think that we should spend as adults trying some time deprogramming ourselves, because no matter who you are, you do have some prejudices. You do have some ways of thinking, some stinking thinking about you. You can be the most positive person in the world, but you can have certain thoughts that are based on your experiences or lack thereof, right? That you may need to deprogram yourself. And that may be that thing that's stopping you from moving to that next level or moving your business globally, even because you haven't taken the time to dissect who you really are, what your thought processes are, what your preconceived notions are, right? And you haven't really deprogrammed yourself. I think we all need to go through some sort of deprogramming here, especially where we are culturally And in this country in particular, many people in our country are hurting more than COVID. Regular things that are going on. I had an event yesterday for Sunday, excuse me, for cancer awareness, for breast cancer awareness month. There's so many things we need to pay closer attention to.
Yeah, there were things going on before COVID.
Yeah.
Things, COVID just kind of alerted us or
Right.
alarmed us or made it bigger.
Absolutely.
But I hear people say all the time, well, I can't wait for COVID to be over so I can go back to normal. And I said, well, were you happy in that normal before? No, I wasn't. Okay, so why do you want to go back to a place where you were not happy? Spend
Right.
this time to understand what is it that you want to be and do coming out of this to be better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because
Hmm.
here's the thing: the reality is that we don't know what out of this when that's going to happen. We don't
Right.
know. We keep saying next month. We said the summer, right? The heat was
Yeah.
going to burn it all off, right? Now we
Right.
deep into flu season and it's peaking. So
I
yeah,
think it'll be
I think
late 2021. I mean, that's kind of what I'm putting in my head. But
yeah.
I think that I talked about how change is constant, it's inevitable. The
Hmm.
need for change exists. It can tap you on the shoulder at any time, that
Hmm.
there are signals. So we need to start being more aware and attuned to those internal signals and external signals around us that's telling us something. And stop ignoring that so we can be more proactive.
Yeah.
Because businesses have lost their businesses because they couldn't get the loans that they needed to get. And it's, I hate that that happened to people. But were your financials in order for you to be able to get those loans? Sometimes they were not, but you had the signal before then that my financials weren't like they should have been,
Yeah.
and I should have been more up on my game when I didn't have to go through this COVID.
Right.
So I'm hoping that people learn the lessons so that in the future you have your act together, you have savings. If you have, there's some people where it's just tough because you are barely making it anyway.
Yes.
When you have that possibility, whatever are your circumstances, what can I do better to ensure that I can be on more solid footing and a stronger foundation when that change taps me on my shoulder?
Yes.
Say, Gladys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Gladys. You're
Thank
always such an
you.
incredible inspiration to me and all the people that come to see our shows. Um, Atlanta Women's Network is grateful to have you as a member. I'm also, of course, grateful to have you as a member of the League of Girlfriends as well. AWN specifically, I'm sorry, I'm trying to go to our website. AWN specifically, we're having a membership drive. Atlanta Women's Network has more programming, just like you heard from Gladys today. We have 2 more speakers for the rest of the year, so we encourage you guys to come to more events. Our next 2 speakers, our November speaker, November 24th, which is the 4th Tuesday of the month, will be Erin Newman, and she will join us and discuss money mindsets, how to overcome your subconscious money blocks. And then in December, we will be joined by another League of Girlfriends member as well, Dr. Jerika Dodd, who is our pharmacy advocate. She will join us on December the 8th. In December, of course, we don't do it the 4th Tuesday, we do it the 1st Tuesday. And she'll talk about being your #1 advocate for your health. We also in November are going to have another one of our Tech Tuesdays that will be on November the 10th, where we will discuss social media part 2. So we did a part 1. Go back and look at that on the Atlanta Women's Network's Facebook group or Facebook page. Both of them you'll find it there. And then if you go to our website, atlantawomensnetwork.com, you have the ability to see some of the other cool free events that the Small Business Expo offers. They're right available there. How to pivot and profit from virtual events, how to pivot your sales strategy to succeed in the new economy, virtual networking, expand, diversify, and manage your digital connection. All of these on-demand learning events are available right on atlantawomensnetwork.com, or you can even go atlantawomensnetwork.org. You will also have the ability to go to our shop. We have a brand new shop on our new website, and in that shop, you'll be able to soon purchase AWN merchandise, but until that time, right this second, you have the ability to purchase any of these workshops coming up. You have the ability to sign right on. You also have the ability to join as a member. We have a membership drive going on right now. It's $99 for an annual membership for AWN. Membership has its privileges. You get lots of privileges through that, discounts on events such as the event with Gladys today. You also get discounts on all types of events we have coming up. We'll soon be doing things with the Drake House. Speaking of the Drake House, we are part of the Drake House and we support them. That is our service initiative. And one of the ways we support the Drake House every single year is that we have an annual gift card drive that support the women. The women in the Drake House have been when it helps us to provide them with short-term crisis, housing, education, and empowerment programs for homeless single mothers and their children. So this is what their gift will go towards. And we're providing gift cards for them. You go right on our website, AtlantaWomen'sNetwork.com, and go to our shop, and you'll see the holiday giving drive, and you have the ability to purchase a $25, $50, or a $100 gift card that we will take directly to the Drake House. Mandy Moore, who's the head of our community service, will do that for us for this holiday drive. Thank you so much again, Gladys, and thank you for hanging out while we gave our announcements. It's like sitting in church waiting for the church announcements to go by, right?
Can I do one thing?
Yes, please.
There's one more thing. So I have a new book.
Oh, good. Oh,
it's called Dumped, Not Dumped On: How to Stop Reliving the Negative Impact of Rejection in Your Life, Business, or Career. Okay. And some of the things that I talked about today are in the book. We're really giving you some key strategies because we all experience that rejection, right? Yeah. Even more so now because of change. And we need to stop reliving that negative impact and get on with our lives to achieve the outcomes that we say that we want. So Dumped, Not Dumped On Amazon.
Yeah.
I appreciate your support. And Angie, always, thank you for having me.
Yes, and just so you know, Gladys is also the founder, of Ignite Within Transformative Coaching and Consulting Business. So all of these principles she talked to you about today, she is available if you want to hire her as your coach to learn how to find the ignition and to ignite within. So Gladys, tell them really quickly before you go how they can reach out to you if they want to hire you for coaching, if they want to talk to you for being a public speaker or strategist, and all of the other incredible things that you do.
Yeah, you can just go on my website, ignitewithin.org, ignitewithin.org. So you can go there. There's a complimentary consultation strategy session you can have with me. There's all kind of materials and videos and downloads that you can get that will really help you in your life, your business, and career that are all complimentary as well. So just go on, peruse it, look it over, see what resonates with you, what works with you. But you can always reach me on that website, and for those listening, a complimentary strategy session. You always want to talk to somebody that can give you a unique, different perspective that's confidential, objective, and non-judgmental, especially in these times. Come out of this with clarity. That's what I will say.
I love that. Thank you so much, Gladys Agwai. I got it right. I'm not going to forget it, honey. So lovely to have you, girlfriend. Thank you. You be blessed. Thank you so much. Atlanta Women's Network. Go join AWN. Give some for the holiday giving. Reach out to Gladys. Thank you to our Vice President, Dr. Tyra Wingo, who's also joined us today in our Zoom call. Thank you for all your feedback. And she says, thank you so much, Gladys, for the inspirational words. Listen, we will see you next month right here. Same back channel, same back. I don't forget how it went, but y'all know what I meant. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Gladys, be blessed. I'll see you soon, girlfriend.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.